So, we've been having a lot of these conversations about Microsoft's business model. The reason we're seeing that they want to make their moves into the PlayStation platform is because they seem like they are comfortable with it. They've been experimenting, or I guess I'll say benefiting from another platform that they've been giving a 30% cuts to without any problems. That is Steam. They also had their own PC platform, don't get me wrong, while they were actually, at some point giving Steam a lot of their games. But because of Microsoft's business strategy, that has never really bothered them. I think sanity is kind of like a part of it in a sense, because like we all know, the mathematical equation, or I guess I would say the mathematical reality, that 100 is greater than 70, but if at any point you're not getting 100, you can get 70. And if you don't get 70, take 30. So that 70% gain that they're making from their game being on other platforms is good for them. I've been talking about this with an audience member of mine who is adamant that Xbox does not need to bring its games to PlayStation until PlayStation, reciprocates that. But to that, I say it's not in Microsoft's business model to wait for this reciprocation. They usually go ahead to other platforms and make their way out there. Today's video, we're going to be looking at some of their business positioning that is out there. And I think for those who want exclusivity from the Xbox side, you'll probably see why it doesn't really make sense as part of Microsoft's business overall strategy to take the approach of full-blown exclusivity, even though one of their major competitors takes that stance even much more than Sony does. You see, Sony is a little baby when it comes to the competitors in terms of who Microsoft is actually punching, against. If Microsoft said they were, competing against PlayStation, they'll be punching down. Their weight class is Google and Apple. And even with Google and Apple, they put their services in a lot of these places. And because they have specific areas of infrastructure, software, and a lot of the market share, they are able to hold their own. Now, one thing many people don't know, and I was surprised, this audience member of mine said they didn't really know how the PC Mac business was quite structured. And I said, you know what, maybe I should do a video over this because a lot of people don't really play on PCs. They use it casually. They probably are not really aware as to how things actually go on that platform. So first of all, Apple has its own proprietary software that it uses for its devices, and that software is only relegated to those devices. Windows, on the other hand, has its proprietary software that belongs to Microsoft, but they're able to sell licenses to different and diverse needs. They can sell the licenses to hardware manufacturers such as Dell, HP, Lenovo, and all of the others, and they can pretty much allow for them to be able to use their own, Windows software to then sell again and transfer that license to another owner. They can also sell you, the individual, a direct license key. In the Apple world, this is unheard of. You have to buy an Apple device that comes with the operating system on it. As far as I know, anybody know where they sell Apple keys? I've never seen it before because Apple uses a locked down ecosystem to do things. What's crazy is you can actually use Windows on your Mac. Thereby, Microsoft is saying, you know what? You don't need any proprietary hardware. We can still find a way to allow for support of our Windows, operating system on a Mac. Even Apple finds ways to, provide a little bit of hints here and there on how you can use it. But there are YouTube videos all over the place. So you can take your Windows key, your Windows license, you can install it on a hardware that is compatible, that meets the requirements, and you can go your own way. This particular paradigm has made Windows a very powerful operating system and a strategic competitor in the software market for operating systems. So you're starting to see that Microsoft does not necessarily hedge against itself in terms of exclusivity. We'll continue going, and you're going to continue to see this. That's one area of their business. The second area of their business that you'll find them doing stuff like this is with Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office is their office suite of, productivity software. And actually, you can use it on Mac. You can buy a Mac version. You can use it on your Linux machine, but you would have to install a virtual machine of Windows, which, because you now have access to a Windows license, if you please, or you could just get a free copy of Windows. Like, you can actually go on Microsoft's website and the exact same Windows that they sell to everybody, they'll give it to you for free. You can download Windows 10 and Windows 11. Let me show you how you do it. Microsoft, let's just do Windows. Windows OS download. And it will literally give you a Windows 10 and Windows 11 for you to download, burn on a disk, and use how you want. It's crazy. I mean, this is, and they sell this. You can buy the key or you can use it for free. For those who keep saying that exclusivity is the thing, you're not looking at the big picture. You see, this approach has allowed for Microsoft to not only be able to hold down its customers, but to go and start converting other people's customers to become their customers. That's how they've become a $3 trillion company, or I guess it's part of it. They have some strong measures. They have some areas where they've gone with anti-competitive stances back in the day when the DOJ was investigating to break up Microsoft. But by and large, they've been able to take their services, their software to other platforms, and it's made them money. You don't have to buy you don't have to buy a Microsoft device. You don't have to buy a Surface Pro to only be able to use Windows. You don't have to buy anything that is only Microsoft made to be able to use the Windows operating system. You can go to who your favorite PC manufacturer is, Dell, freaking Steam Deck, MSI, Acer, Asus, and you can buy a device from them with the Windows operating system on there, or you can buy one and change the operating system to use to your own means. I've taken time to basically break down what I think is just a small little bit, and I haven't even gone into Azure and their cloud services and all, but I wanted to go ahead and say, if all of this, taking the stance of not putting these things exclusive, but taking it to customers wherever they are, has made Xbox and, has made Xbox what it is today, Microsoft pretty much having all this money that they infused $70 billion into Xbox. How then do you think it sounds when, in doing all that and making money, people are asking for Xbox to do the exact opposite? Think about it for a minute. All these years, for decades, Microsoft made money by taking a lot of its proprietary software, services, and a lot of what it offers to customers across all platforms, doing a little bit here and there to allow for user access and, ease of use across the board. Like, I bought a Steam Deck, didn't really like the Steam OS in terms of what, it was giving me, because there were just some games I had to do some extra things to play, right? So what I do, I just installed Windows on my Steam Deck. Yes, it took a little bit of, extra work, but that Windows, download file is available for you to use. I downloaded Windows 10, and once Windows 10 was installed on the Steam Deck, it requested and said if I wanted to update to Windows 11, and I got a Windows 11 update. Simple. Now, I know this may blow people's minds who you're usually in the console ecosystem, and for the most part, you're used to the exclusivity thing, which is interesting that even Microsoft themselves took to the stance of exclusivity in the Xbox 360 days, in the Xbox One days, and this was something that the gaming industry probably enjoyed and thrived by. But their own major market overall was doing things differently with their other areas of services as they were growing. And they understood, and I think they learned from there, that meeting the customer where they are will allow for you to convert another person's customer into your customer. With a game like Sea of Thieves, do you know what Xbox has successfully done? Xbox has successfully converted PlayStation customers into Xbox customers. That is a powerful thing to do. You see, people are so worried about the fact that PlayStation will make 30%. So what? There's a cost to doing business. Before you even make the 100% revenue, you still have to put money somewhere to be able to make it happen. So why not put the money in a place where you can convert their customers to your customers? And those customers don't even have to move anywhere from their couch before they now become a Microsoft customer. Oh, wait. How many of those same PlayStation customers are now Xbox customers because they're playing Call of Duty? That is the key behind the non-hard stance that you've seen Xbox take with exclusivity. They've said it's on a case-by-case basis simply because they want to have the flexibility to be able to move as they please across the gaming scene. It's a very interesting place for them to be. I think, and I strongly believe, that this is definitely something that a lot of people have not really considered when it comes down to it. PlayStation, having locked itself into exclusivity and all, is lacking on something that Apple already has. Apple has an ecosystem that has a lot of utility. It may be expensive, but they do have a shine and a marketing to it. And honestly, many times, the way Apple products, are designed, they really are integrated into just a lot of what the user is. And they've been tactful in ensuring that you will stay in that ecosystem and you'll benefit from it for the most part. I like the way they actually have set things up, but many times it frustrates me because I'm somewhat of I don't know how you're going to call it. I'm not really too big on anybody locking me into a specific paradigm. So yeah, that's where you're going to see me kind of break away from what Apple is doing from time to time. However, those people who like the ecosystem, they have everything that they need within the ecosystem. They don't have to look elsewhere. PlayStation, on the other hand, doesn't have that kind of comprehensive ecosystem. That kind of ecosystem is what Xbox is building, and that's actually built, that PlayStation pretty much talked about when their leaks showed up. Do you all remember when the PlayStation leaks came to play? Do you remember what they said about a comprehensive ecosystem? This one document, I think, is probably the most important document in all of gaming conversations. Why all the talking heads don't have this document literally posted everywhere around their conversations is so interesting. Check it out. Subscription. Microsoft's comprehensive ecosystem, coupled with exclusivity, creates greater dominance. What Sony is trying to achieve with PlayStation, Xbox already achieved with its ecosystem. This is one of the reasons that PlayStation said they've been dominated by Xbox. You see, y'all have been looking at this picture in a very, very weird way, not paying attention, as to exactly what it is, the goals and the aims of some of these businesses will look like, and even how they, conduct themselves and how they conduct themselves around their competitor. This is why I said PlayStation is punching down in terms of saying Microsoft is competing with them. They are, but it really is a punch down because they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the ecosystem set up to be able to do what it is that they're pleased to do. Apple has the ecosystem already set up. iCloud, all of these things that keep you within the Apple ecosystem. Those of you who are Apple users, do you know what will happen to you if you dared try to go Android right now? If you're embedded in the ecosystem, your life is almost going to fall apart in your mind. You're going to be like, what am I going to do with all my pictures, all my music, all my files, all this stuff that are backed up in the cloud, all these services that I have that already have my settings, my this. That is how you create an ecosystem. And that's something that PlayStation doesn't have. And right now, it's causing them issues. But on the part of Xbox, if anybody who is saying that Xbox's exclusivity needs to be on this identity thing or whatever with the brand, you don't know Microsoft's business strategy. Even when Phil Spencer had not yet gotten his hands on Activision, Blizzard, and all of the above, it has still always been within the core DNA of their ecosystem that you could have access to these services. Believe you me, I started out, my first Microsoft account was when I was gifted an Xbox 360 years ago. All the way through now, that whole ecosystem has moved not just from gamer, but to even developer area and everything intertwined within an ecosystem that is so broad and so big. Anything that you want to do is actually there. It's insane. It's insane. Now, the crazy thing, though, is, ladies and gentlemen, this was all going on. The media and the press didn't tell you jack squat. Imagine what else they've kept from you. So for those who are on the Xbox side, this is just a little piece of how their business works in terms of Microsoft. This is why you're seeing their moves. I'll try my best to maybe make other videos on it and talk extensively about certain areas of their business. And you'll see how, if you compare it to Xbox, Xbox is actually quite unique the way they do business. But at the end of the day, it will have to follow suit to maintain that level of profitability that the other areas and other platforms are seeing success in. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.